Hello and good morning. Welcome to the second ever StevensvilleGamers Podcast. My plan for this podcast from now on is to not come out on Sunday, but it's to come out Monday morning at 9 a.m. to start your week off in the morning with some chill podcasts, topics every single week. Should be interesting and fun. A video is coming out later today explaining a whole bunch of stuff revolving around the future plans for the channel and stuff like that. So if you're watching this in the present, right now, then, or the day that it was released, I should say, because everyone's watching it right now, because it is right now. Time, man, time's weird. Anyway, if you are watching this day that this is released, please make sure to check out that video if you are interested in the progression of Stevensville Gamers and such. And if you're watching this from the future, it doesn't even matter. Don't even worry about it. Because most likely the new schedule is already in full swing. But anyway, let's just go ahead and get into today's topic. And I want to talk a little bit about why I took like a week and a half, 2-week break. What I did in that week and a half to 2 weeks. And as you can see by the title, bad habits, unproductive habits, breaking those unproductive habits, accountability partners, and just all that kind of stuff. So, starting out, I want to say that I am in no way any kind of like professional at any of this kind of stuff. This is just based on my own experience, based on the knowledge that I have gained from people around me, and is mainly, just from experience and from the opinions of people around me. Well, a good place to start is probably in March. March is when around the end of March is when America shut down due to COVID. I was going pretty strong. I was in my second semester, in my second year at the Art Academy, doing classes, going strong. As I was saying, basically my bad habit started and I started staying up super late, procrastinating things to the last second, not putting forth a whole lot of effort, playing video games and watching YouTube most of the day, sitting in classes, not really paying attention, doing other things just so I could get the attendance for those classes. And then things kind of hit the fan and I had to move back home. And since I've been home, it's gotten a little bit better, but still staying up super late, streaming till late hours of the evening, not really putting forth the highest amount of energy towards things that I should be. And so, which is really unfortunate. And I have had a bad issue with procrastination and using video games and using YouTube to procrastinate things and avoid things. And it kind of went beyond just like me time. It went beyond any sort of went beyond any sort of healthy, productive manner. And I've kind of had this issue since my mid-teens as well. So this is nothing new. But I took the break recently because the summer semester for the Art Academy of Cincinnati was winding down. I actually had my last critique for both of my classes that I was taking over the summer, today and yesterday. So I'm completely done with the Art Academy of Cincinnati as I'm recording this for the summer, which is why I am going to be jumping back into streaming, back into making videos and all of that because I have more time. And I kind of took the break because I needed to give myself time to finish out those classes, to give myself time to work on the work that I'm doing for my dad in my dad's company. I needed to put time aside for just a whole bunch of different things, a whole bunch of different reasons, and streaming and YouTube, unfortunately, is kind of always forced to the bottom of my priority list because, it's really for myself. I really wanted to take off, obviously, but as it stands, it's still more of a hobby that I take pretty seriously, or I'm trying to take pretty seriously, but it's still a hobby because it's not making me money. It's not making me a livable income by any means. Of course, there's one or two patrons who give $5 a month, which I super appreciate, and we're starting to make more content for the Patreon, so which I'll explain in the video that comes out later today. There's sometimes tips through Twitch and the Twitch streams, and so I don't want to say there's no money because there is a little bit, but it's a very small trickle, if anything. But it's still appreciated, obviously. I don't want to sound ungrateful or anything dumb like that. But it's definitely not any kind of living wage, is what I was trying to say. And because of that, and because it's viewed by a lot of the people who are around me as a hobby, it's definitely on the low priority list. So with so many things going on and all of that kind of stuff, that was the first thing that was cut. That was the first thing just slashed off the docket. Basically, yo, you've got too much shit going on, man. Something's got to give. And you know what that something is? It's your YouTube and your streaming. Because that's not as important as something that's making you money, which is the stuff I'm doing for my dad, or something that costs money and is also improving your career in learning and all of that, which is obviously college, school, education. So those were the top priorities, is finishing out my education and the stuff that I'm doing for my dad. And even because I'm living back with my parents, even housely duties, very, around the house type of things are even prioritized a lot of the time over streams in YouTube, which is unfortunately the way it is, but it just kind of is the way it is until I'm living back on my own and can schedule my own time and can fully control my own time, schedule around obvious either school or work schedules and such. But being back home, it added another layer of things that out prioritized the streams and the YouTube and stuff. And also I needed to take some time to chill out, get myself unfrustrated, give myself a little bit of a break, recalibrate myself a little bit as well, just because some of the streams that some of the last, because I streamed maybe Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday a couple weeks ago, and then just stopped and then took a whole week off, and then now we're back this week. But those streams just were not fun because my streaming software, OBS, was not doing what I wanted it to do. It was messing up. It looked terrible. The visuals of the stream were awful. It was super laggy. I had my video settings super low. And I was getting really, really frustrated because I wanted it to look good, but also, I understand myself getting frustrated at that, but also it was you don't need to get that. I got so frustrated that it ruined my whole streaming experience. It wasn't fun because it didn't look good and things were messing up, and I was just trying to play Wizard 101 with Fred and grind the Christmas in July event, and trying to just have fun, talk to chat, talk to Fred, grind some Lore Master for the Christmas in July event, and the stream that usually works was just not working, and it was ruining the whole experience for myself, so I just needed to stop. And by this time I'm obviously streaming again, so or by the time this goes out, I need to, over the weekend, over this weekend before this goes out and before I start streaming again, to basically look at everything in OBS and make sure all my settings are correct and figure out what the best settings are, so that I can continue to stream at a pretty high quality as well as smoothly, and it's not glaggy and glitchy and choppy and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to take a break from streaming because I wanted to fix that. I had so many other things to do, and retrospectively I had such bad habits. I was exhausted, so I didn't really have any energy to put into the streams because I was doing so much, and then I was staying up super late. I wasn't getting any sleep. It was just my sleep schedule was out of whack. There was just so many things that were not good. There were so many bad habits building up over the summer and over the spring, and just I had a very regulated schedule of going to class, going to school, my work schedule. I had everything very planned out. I had everything very scheduled and regulated, and then COVID happened, and then kind of let myself go, and just kind of everything just went to the wayside. It felt like, because all these bad habits and these things going physically to class, mentally it did something for me to keep myself accountable. You actually have to physically go into the class, and you have to physically bring your work, and you have to sit in your studio, and you have to do things, and so that kind of kept me accountable. And I love my job, and if I ever get to go back to Cincinnati, I hope that I'll be able to get it back, doing the tables and stuff, and I love doing that, and having that work schedule kept me very accountable as well, and I wanted to go do that. That's not something I had to go to work. It was I get to go to work today, and I get to go work on these things that I'm proud of when they're done. People come in and talk to us about the tables and stuff, that people might want to buy them, and just that whole environment was awesome, and I wanted to be there, and that work schedule kept me accountable. And so that was my accountability partner, basically. And, sorry, I had to got some water this time. Got to take some sips. So that was my accountability partner. And then when everything shut down, I didn't have like the wherewithal or the self-discipline to really do anything about it. And so it really just became a shit show. So yeah, that's basically the setup, right? COVID strikes. I'm not prepared. My bad habits hit the fan. Shit goes crazy. And I just don't recover. So so over the break, over this last couple weeks, I have finished my Art Academy of Cincinnati summer term, like I said. So that's one thing checked off the list, you know? So that's one huge thing checked off the list that I can now go in, I can now check off, scratch off, and move forward with other plans, other ideas, because now I have so much more time to delegate to doing this kind of stuff, the YouTube, the streaming, all of that, because the schooling stuff is over, and that just allows me to delegate so much more of my time to other things, which is what I need to do to, you know, put out content that I actually enjoy and like, and all that kind of stuff. So one of the reasons was I needed to finish this semester out. Another reason was I just needed a break from streaming because I was trying to do it like every single night, you know, pretty consistently, almost every single night, missing here or there for quite a few months. And I was doing it while I was exhausted, doing it late at night. I didn't have much energy some nights, and I burnt myself out on Wizards 101. I burnt myself out on streaming in general. And so I just needed to remove myself and take a break for a little bit so then I could do that. Or so I could go recharge. And within that recharging, I also, you know, I felt like I needed to make some self-discipline changes as well. And just sitting there and being like, wow, I stay up till like 3 in the morning and I get up at 11 a.m. and I barely do anything productive. I rush everything I'm doing when it is productive. I feel like shit throughout most of the day because I'm not really doing anything, or I feel, I guess empty is the word. Just I've got nothing going on. I've got nothing productive happening. Everything that I'm doing that is somewhat productive feels forced and unengaged, and I am unengaged with that thing that I am doing. And it's just like, why would you want to exist like that, you know? And it's just like, wow. Like, looking back retrospectively, it's like you didn't do anything for months and months. And it's just so much wasted time that you could have been allocating towards so many different things that it's unbelievable, you know? And so that's kind of what I was thinking about when I was taking the break. So within the last week or so, well, yeah, it probably is by the time this comes out, it is about a week. I reeled in my sleep schedule. Instead of getting up at 11, I got up at 10, and then 9:30, and then 9. You know, I'm now getting up between 8:30 and 9 a.m. every morning, and I'm going to sleep around or I'm falling asleep around 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. instead of like 3 or 4 a.m. So that was kind of like my first step that I was doing is getting my sleep schedule normalized. And so, yeah, that was my first step, which now I'm getting up between 8:30 and 9 a.m. So, yeah, moving on. My next step was like, why do I feel like shit? Well, maybe, like, I'll think about, like, I do need to exercise more. I don't exercise as much as I used to. Even just doing the tables at work, the sanding, the sanding of those tables, the moving the tables around. These are like 200, between like 200 and like 500 pound, 600 pound tables that are just massive and they're super heavy, and we're moving them around and walking around, standing all the time. That was physical labor, even if it was physical labor. And it was craftsmanship labor. It wasn't like construction or something, but it's still physical. Still physical. And just doing that kept me in shape a lot. And then when quarantine hit originally, I was definitely eating very poorly. But I was eating very poorly and then exercising almost every day. Walking around the building of the Art Academy of Cincinnati, walking around downtown, going to work and doing all that, craftsmanship labor, I guess is what I'll call it, because it's not like, I don't know, like physical labor sounds like construction or something like that, but it wasn't that intense. So I'll just say like craftsmanship labor. And that was like keeping me in shape when it wasn't. So I was like, okay, what am I going to do now that I'm home though? We each take turns cooking a couple days a week. I was only cooking once a week because my evening classes during the week, which are ending next week. So almost totally done with school by next week. Sorry if you hear thunder in this podcast from now on, because it has decided to start storming here. But so like I'm eating healthier here, but I'm trying to exercise. Like I'm so out of shape that I realize. So I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I'm point being, like, why do I feel like shit? Well, I'm eating healthier. I'm walking with my dad when he goes on his walks sometimes. So it's not that. Maybe it's because all you do is watch YouTube and play video games, Maybe that's why you feel like shit. And so basically, I was like, okay, I need to drastically cut out how I'm just going about my daily life. And like I'm doing some stuff, I'm working on some stuff, but I'll like work on something for an hour and a half, and then I'll play like 2 hours of Hearthstone or some shit, or just I'll have YouTube videos on and kind of half watching the YouTube videos and half doing something else. And it's just like, I just need to cut out these unproductive habits, these unproductive things, and just get up and do what I need to do. And then in the evening, have fun, watch YouTube videos, stream, all these kind of things. So yeah, I just almost don't touch YouTube or video games of any kind from the time I wake up till around dinner, which is usually in between 5:30 to 7, So there's a solid chunk of time where I'm just doing productive things. And it started out even like, I'm waiting for something to happen. So instead of playing a game of Hearthstone, or I'm waiting for like a class to start, instead of playing a game of Hearthstone, or instead of jumping into a game of Overwatch or Valorant or any of those kind of games as well, which you kind of just get sucked into and you play 7 games instead of like 2 that you were going to play. Instead of doing that, I'm like, I'm editing videos instead. I'm doing my laundry instead. Cleaning up some spaces instead. Talking to Fred about ideas for content. Just I have so many projects and so many facets of what I do. Like I have proposals and I have work that I'm doing for my dad. I have school and classes that I need to be doing readings for and projects for and papers for and presentations for. And I have my own personal artistic career that I'm doing, and and practicing my artistic craft and coming up with concepts and ideas for that. And then there's also, the YouTube side of things and editing videos and managing social media, which I do. I edit the videos now again. So I'm editing, I'm uploading, I'm titling, I'm thumbnailing. It's not that hard, and I like doing it. But all of that and everything else combined is time consuming. And if I want to be doing all of this stuff well, how the hell do I have time to play 5 hours of video games in a day? Like, you don't. You just don't have time for that. Or you shouldn't have time for that if you're doing all these other things to the fullest of their extent. So, I am trying to... It's getting real stormy now. I don't know if y'all can hear that. Maybe you can. But it's getting real stormy out there. So I apologize if you can hear that. But anyway, just whenever I'm making an effort, and a pretty good one at the moment, to cognitively be like, okay, I just thought about opening my computer and playing Hearthstone for a little bit. Instead of making the cognitive decision to be like, okay, you could play Hearthstone and watch YouTube tonight till, 12 a.m. when then you fall asleep or whatever. Like, you could do that later. What is a project that's happening right now that you want to make progress on? And instead of opening up that game of Hearthstone or that game of Valorant or whatever, then I open up a video and I start editing a video because I want to get ahead on editing videos. I get out some paints, or I get out my sketchbook, a notebook that I have, start writing down ideas for art pieces, ideas for videos, start editing videos, go do my laundry, go unload the dishwasher and load the dishwasher so then someone else in the house doesn't have to do it later. Like, literally anything else that leads towards some kind of productive goal towards or helps, literally anything else that is productive towards what I want to do or towards a goal, or in some cases just keeps me from logging into Hearthstone or keeps me from logging into Valorant or Overwatch or any of these games. And it's going well thus far. I finish something, this week, I was making a presentation for my final, and I was like, all right, I'm done the presentation. And I want to play some Overwatch. But hey, it's only like 3 p.m. There's still plenty of time. Be productive. Maybe don't work on something school related because you just spent 2 hours working on a presentation for finals. Maybe you don't want to do that, or you don't want to work on something like that. So why don't you go edit a video because you like editing videos, and that'll take an hour and a half. And so after that hour and a half, it's like 5 o'clock. Or in this made up scenario was 3. It's like 4:30 or like 5 o'clock by the time I'm done editing this video from start to finish, and like, I've got an hour to kill before my evening class starts, so I might as well do a game or like 2 games of Valorant. And instead of doing that, being like, okay, what can you do in an hour that isn't playing Valorant or watching a YouTube video? It's like, well, I have an hour, and I don't want to play video games because I'm trying to do this self-improvement. My laundry basket's half full. Might as well do some laundry. Whatever, just anything like that. And I go throw a load of laundry in, and that takes 20 minutes. And then I'm like, oh, well, what else can I do? And I look around, and I'm like, okay, well, I can clean up some shit that's laying around in my room for 15 minutes. And, just forcing myself to cognitively think about doing something that leads to productivity or helps productivity happen. My mom is actually a feng shui certified individual. I don't know what you would call that. She's just a certified feng shui person. So we're working on actually probably over the weekend, because a little behind the scenes, I'm actually filming this on Thursday. Over the weekend, or the weekend that just happened, from when this is coming out, we would have, or by the time this comes out, we will have sat down with, a piece of notebook paper and kind of mapped out a new sort of layout for my room to, make it more productive, make it better. She does this for businesses as well. They can't really call it feng shui because some of these professional people are like, ooh, that's a bunch of hooey, it's feng shui. So they call it, professional workplace, or like a professional environment enhancing or productive workspace planning. They give it other sneaky names, but it's actually just feng shui and how things work in a room and how things flow in a room. So hopefully, I'll have a better flow of energy through my room / studio / streaming area, because it is a small room. I just spent with my sister a couple hours cleaning it because it was a disaster. So trying to keep it clean, trying to keep it a productive workspace. I kind of have half the desk for like computer stuff, whether that be working on my dad's work stuff, doing presentations, streaming, any of that, editing videos. I kind of have one half my desk right now delegated for that, and it's very clean. And the other half has, paintbrushes on it right now, sketchbook on it, pencils, pens, all notebook, sketchbook, that kind of space for like artistic stuff. And I can throw some clay on the table, and so just giving myself spaces to do separate things so it's not all jammed together. Having a delegated space on the right side of my desk for stuff, and having the artistic side to the left delegated for other stuff, and trying to, keep one workspace free and open and the other one more professional and suitable and clean for all that kind of stuff, as well as just like what I'm hanging up on my walls, stuff that I like. In the background of the streams, I have like the wall with Pokemon and the Dreamcatcher and Gara and the Naruto headband, and in the background I have the horse head, Good Kid, Mad City album on vinyl, which I love, on display, as well as piece of like a pot or like a bamboo plant, and my Pokemon tins, and just having things on display that I like and enjoy, and just making my workspace / living space feel better, feel like a place that I like, keeping it clean so then energy can flow freely, because energy really easily gets caught up in clutter, gets caught up in dirty areas, and mostly, just trash and clutter and stuff. So just trying to really, make conscious decisions to always, unless it's like the evening, always trying to do something that will lead to some sort of productivity, or lead to creating a productive workspace or a productive living space, as well as just, within that as well, keeping my workspace and living space decluttered and clean, so that energy can flow freely and openly and effectively through the whole space, and it just feels better to have cleanly things, and to know where things are, so when you have an idea, you don't spend 20 minutes looking for it or looking for the materials. You just know where those materials are, and you can just do it. And kind of jumping back, about feeling good. It feels good to live in a clean space. It feels good to have all of these things that I like on display for myself to see. It feels good to be productive. It makes me feel better and not like shit like I was just a couple weeks ago. And just at the end, it feels good to play games and watch YouTube videos after a day of being productive and not procrastinating, and doing things that I like, doing things that I know I have to do, doing things that ultimately get me closer to my goals, and being able to sit back and be like, all right, I did a lot of stuff today, and I'm happy with a lot of the stuff that I did today, and now I'm just going to sit back and just relax, play some Hearthstone, get into some Valorant, watch some YouTube videos. You know what I mean? And that feels better, instead of playing video games and watching YouTube like all day, and then even into like the middle of the night. Like there's no, you feel the procrastination dread, I guess is what I'll call it. You feel the procrastination dread on you. You feel the anxiety of knowing that you haven't done anything all day on you. So it feels good, and it feels better to do things all day, and then to just sit back and be like, I did stuff that was productive, that got me closer to my goals, that it was good. Boom, I'm gonna chill now. So yeah, that's kind of where I am mentally. If I were to, wrap this up and kind of give some sort of conclusion or some kind of advice, trying to keep these podcasts, personal and interesting and maybe somewhat educational. Mike's couple-step process on how to Mike's couple-step process on how to break bad habits. Mike's couple-step process on how to create productive days. First thing, if your sleep schedule's whack and if your sleep schedule's shit, change it. I'm a night owl. I love staying up late. I get creative at night. A lot of people say that creatives are very night owl-ish, and I am a creative. And even if you are too, that's not an excuse. If you go to bed at 3 a.m. and you wake up at 11 a.m. and you feel like shit, something's got to change. So you might as well, get up at 9, go to sleep at 1. So my first suggestion would be fix your sleep schedule. My second suggestion would then be look at your environment around you. Do you like the environment that you are surrounding yourself with? Whether it be your room, your office space, anything like that, Make that a place that you want to spend time. If you've got to spend a lot of time in a certain place, make it so you want to spend time there, Put a picture of your family up, or put a picture of your significant other up. If it's even just printing out some pictures of things that you like and tacking them up on the wall so you see them. Like, I don't know, like using my example again, the album that I have is one of my favorite albums by Kendrick Lamar on display, and it was a gift from my girlfriend for my birthday. So it has sentimental value, it has listening value, it has aesthetic value because I like how it looks as well. But I also have my plushie of Gaara that's hanging up on my wall because I love Naruto. I love Gaara as a character. I think he's cool and a badass, and I like it, so I have it. I have my Pokemon tin set up because aesthetically, I like the way they look. I like the colors. It also has a sentimental value of I like Pokemon, and I like, just find things that you enjoy and try to surround and fill your space with things that you like, while also making sure that it's not cluttered. Clean it up. Throw out the trash. Get rid of stuff that you don't like. Get rid of stuff you don't use. Get rid of broken shit. All of this stuff comes straight out of the Feng Shui handbook, that my mom has regurgitated to me over the years about all of this kind of stuff. So I myself might not be the expert on it, but I have heard from and talked to experts on it and people who are certified in it, You have broken shit and shit that doesn't work, that clogs up energy. If you have clutter that clogs up energy, surround yourself and fill your space with things that you like, either sentimentally or aesthetically or any of this kind of stuff, And once you fix your sleep schedule, first and foremost, made a productive, and give yourself space to work so you can be productive in that space that you have created that you like. So create a space that you like to spend time in. Create a space that enables and even encourages you to be productive towards the goals that you want. And even in this process of decluttering and cleaning, write down a list of goals. Why are you doing this? Do you want to feel less like shit? Or do you have specific projects and specific goals that you want to hit and that you want to work towards? Because if you don't have any sort of goals, then you have nothing productive to work towards. And then once you have done the fairly large step of creating that productive space that you enjoy spending time in, as well as figuring out what goals you're trying to be productive about or be productive for, then you gotta self-discipline and be like, listen, I just realized I was about to sit down and play a video game, and that's not productive towards my goal. I need to figure out, instead of playing that video game right now, I need to figure out what is something that I can do to be productive towards those goals I wrote down. You know, and this shouldn't be too hard, right? Those goals are something that you wrote down that you want to do. Those are things you want to achieve. So it's just forcing yourself to cognitively be like, hey, don't do the instant gratification thing of playing a video game right now. Do the thing that'll put progress towards the goal that I want to do. I want to do this. I want this goal. So let me put energy, put effort towards that instead of the video game or the YouTube video or the, I don't know, anything really that you feel is unproductive towards your goals. And then, you know, if you feel like you can't discipline yourself or have the ability to cognitively make decisions against your like instant gratification needs, and we all as humans have them, try to find an accountability partner, significant other, best friend, sibling, uncle. Find someone to, at the end of every day or the end of every other day, once a week, be like, call you or text you or whatever and be like, yo, what did you do this week? Did you play a bunch of video games? Ask them and be like, hey, I'm trying to make this change. I'm trying to be a productive person. I'm trying to change up my lifestyle habits. Yo, I need you to keep me accountable. And if they're a true friend, or if they're your spouse, or if they're your uncle or your sibling, I'm sure that they will, you know, potentially, hopefully, they will do that for you and just be like, yo, every other day, I need you to just text me. Text me and be like, yo, did you play a bunch of video games these past 2 days? Or did you get shit done? And if I realize, oh shit, I did just play a bunch of video games, that then cognitively reminds me, shit, I'm not on stride. I'm not on my goal path. I'm not on the path to success right now. You know, the last day or two was a little bit of a hiccup. Thank you for reminding me, accountability partner, that I need to stay on my goals. And don't focus on, oh shit, I just played video games for 2 days. I'm off beat now. I'm off my path. I'm not doing this right. Just be like, alright, whatever. You know, I played a game of Hearthstone in the middle of the day sometimes. I played a couple games of Overwatch in the morning. You know, I'm like, I shouldn't be doing this. I gotta move on. And I move on. You know, you just gotta be able to be like, alright, that was not a good thing. That was a slip up. And I'm gonna move past it and I'm gonna be better. Instead of beating yourself up over this, because if you beat yourself up over it, you're just giving yourself negative reinforcement, which, at least for myself, I thrive on nurture and positive reinforcement and that kind of idea. So if I beat myself up all the time, or if somebody, you know, if you're being negative on yourself, like God, I'm fucking awful at this because I didn't do my thing and I slipped up and I made a mistake. You know, we're our own worst enemies and we're our own harshest critics. You just gotta be like, all right, you know, that's something I did. Whether I recognize that for myself or I have an accountability partner that recognizes that for me, and just be like, all right, I messed up, but moving forward, I'm going to do better. I'm not gonna try to do better, I'm going to do better. I am putting it out into the universe, and I am telling myself, not giving myself any leeway. Like, tomorrow I am going to be super productive, because I realize I wasted half my day today playing video games and not moving towards my goals. And, just being able to say that to yourself and being able to put it behind you and being able to get up at 8, get up at 9, get up at 7 the next morning and be like, all right, yesterday didn't go so well. Let's move forward and let's kick ass today. Just kind of, or have your accountability partner in the morning be like, hey, I know you didn't do well yesterday, but just do stuff today, kick ass today. So yeah, that's Mike's steps to success. I wanna conclude this with, if you're feeling like shit, if you feel like you're unproductive, if you feel like you're not moving towards your goals, reevaluate, figure out where you're wasting time, where you're being unproductive, where you can fit in being productive, and try to do that 3-step process. Maybe it's a 4-step process. Fix your sleep schedule, make a productive environment that you want to spend time in, set your goals, write down your goals, figure out what it is you want to accomplish, and then make cognitive decisions and use self-discipline to work towards those goals that you've written down, or that you have written down, or you wrote down. Grammar, man. And if you can't self-discipline, or you don't feel like you can self-discipline, there's no reason not to ask for help. Get an accountability partner. But, yeah. Hopefully, I'm really trying to move forward, to try to be a more productive human, try to be more, make progress on my goals and things that I want to achieve. Hopefully this is helpful for some people who feel like they, they take they take an assessment of where they are and be like, wow, this COVID situation really messed me up, and I'm really off my goal path here. I'm really off my path to success here. I really lost track of my goals because of this COVID thing, and just, realigning your daily habits with your goals. Hopefully that's helpful for people. So yeah, thank you for listening. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on. Give me some more podcast ideas in the Discord, which there is a link to in the description, or in the comments section down below. Like I said, I have Discord. Appreciate if you would join it. I stream on Twitch. Links in the description. Social media. Links in the description. Patreon. $5 a month. You get a Patreon only Discord. And you get one exclusive video a month that is only posted on Patreon. $5. Super appreciate it. Merchandise as well. Links, just check out those links in the description, man. I would super appreciate it. And yeah, get yourself back on that goal path. Get yourself back on that path to success. Realign your daily routine with what you want to achieve. And I hope to see you back here next week at 9 a.m. Monday morning for another StevensvilleGamers Podcast. See ya.